Going live on the road. How are you guys doing? So I think I'm fairly close to the right time at this point. I am in Louisiana. Very interesting how different parts of the US change and shift depending on where you're at. One thing I can say, after booking numerous different hotels in the Marriott chain, that it's a very interesting arrangement. A lot of times what you're seeing online, the pictures and stuff, is not what it looks like anymore. So be aware. Hey, Prashant, nice to see you. Um, anyway, today driving to Florida, and we're going to check out. I'm going to be spending a fair bit of time in Florida. We're basically just kind of getting across the U.S. right now, and I'm going to be seeing my mom there and a number of people, friends. There's different business meetings and other stuff happening in Florida. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? I see you've been doing lots of cool stuff with your movie, so it's exciting. Yeah. So anyway, just going live to let you guys know what the progress is and talk a little bit about that. And hopefully soon I will be somewhere where I can be a little bit more set up and actually get back to talking about these different topics that I normally talk about. But it's been interesting to see what's going on in the US, just in the drive across and in being in different downtown areas and seeing how many places, like even downtown here in Baton Rouge, driving around this area, walking around last night a little bit. So many places are closed, and I think that's really sad. And there were some places, and I showed you, and I think I posted another video earlier, passing by, driving through, going off into like seeing these little towns and stuff, and seeing like whole towns just boarded up, basically. And it's kind of crazy to me to see. I don't think that the news is really reporting what these massive shutdowns have done to the country, and how horribly it's affected the country, creating these huge shutdowns because of COVID. I honestly think that was really a wrong way to handle the situation. There's plenty of other countries in Asia and stuff that manage the epidemic much better, that managed it through using different types of cleanliness procedures rather than just shutting everything down. So they didn't completely lose their economics, which has damaged all of these small businesses, perhaps irretrievably. So I think that there's a lot that we needed to learn from this, and I don't think that the government has actually learned it yet. I don't think they are learning it. I don't really know if they care to learn it. But just driving here through the US and seeing what is happening, how much people are suffering, and the businesses that are closed because of this. When you think about everybody's like dreams and livelihoods, and all these small entrepreneurs and business people who have put their lives and their life savings and their dreams into these businesses, and then to have the government just come in and shut everything down, and not enable them to make a living, right? Rather than giving them the choice to do something else. Instead of giving them the choice to say, okay, we need you to put in these types of cleanliness procedures and, wear protective equipment and so on, they just went in and shut everything down, and a lot of people didn't recover from that. So I think that's a really big issue. And there are other countries and cities, there are other places around the world, in places like Asia, where people just naturally, it's the norm to wear a mask if you're feeling sick. They didn't see the same issues that we had here in the US, right? So in Asia, if you feel a little bit sick, you wear a mask to protect everybody else, and that's just the norm there. And I think that's actually a very good custom, right? And it's not about fearing breathing in what someone else is doing. It's about thinking about how are we protecting other people. So if I'm sick, I wear a mask, right? Not I'm wearing a mask because I'm going to protect myself from all of you evil people, right? But because they had some of these procedures in place, and more cleanliness procedures and wiping, like in Hong Kong after SARS, I was living there, and They have like schedules in all the elevators for how often they wipe them down with disinfectant. And that was just became part of their typical procedure, right? That became part of their procedure with these different cleanliness things like wiping down elevators with disinfectant and stuff like that. So it wasn't it wasn't because it wasn't enforced because of an epidemic. That was just became the procedure. And I think that that is stuff that we should take away from this, is implementing better cleanliness and hygiene procedures and being aware of taking precautions if you're sick. But what we did here, I think, was has damaged the economy in a way that it may be very hard for us to come back from. And just reading in the newspaper about what's going on with the inflation right now, inflation is much higher than what it typically is. And I don't know how that's going to change with all of the money. So by stopping the natural economic flow of the country, the government was forced to pump in a ton of money, right, through the CARES Act. And while, we appreciate that help, on the other hand, they stopped the natural economic growth. Now with the CARES Act funds being pumped in artificially into the country through the government, they are going to have to start to raise interest rates, and inflation is going to go up. And the government will let inflation go up because inflation is the hidden tax. Inflation is how the government can tax without actually raising taxes. So the government's going to be doing both, and it will have to because of all the money it's pumped in, right? It's going to both let inflation go up, and it will, right? And they are, obviously Biden is raising taxes across the board. So I think it's just going to put more of a stranglehold on the country and affect the people who are going to be the most affected are going to be, the entrepreneurs and the small businesses, which are the backbone of our society and our freedoms. So be aware of that is what is going on. Anyway, I will talk to you tomorrow. I hope you guys have a awesome day. And, remember, there used to be a law in America, which I wish we had still, which was that you always had to look at both sides of the situation. So if you interviewed somebody, you had to interview someone from the other side. Even if you thought that their views were crazy or whatever it was, you always needed to bring in people and talk about things from multiple sides of a situation. And that is such an important concept, because even if you disagree with the other side, it allows you to activate your critical and rational thought. And it allows people to see, there's not only one way to see something, there's multiple ways to see something. So let's activate our critical thinking and see if there might be another way to deal with this. And that is not been what has been happening. It is become if you don't believe like me, then you're evil and you're the devil, right? So it's basically become this kind of witch hunt mentality. And that is the opposite of what we need in a tolerant and free and democratic society. So just be aware of what is going on. Keep your eyes and ears open. All right. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.